Harry and his men came to the bris,
Uh-huh.
and my mother made everybody leave their guns in the hallway. Honest to God.
And this is Harry, who is your uncle. Okay.
My
Who was
father's younger brother.
his father's younger brother. Now,
It was insane.
that would have been Willie's stepbrother also then, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And then Harry was doing very well during Prohibition and bought the mountains, Primrose Mansion.
Uh-huh. And where's that located?
It's up in Harris County, New York, near Liberty, New York.
Okay. And you thought it was in a town called Ellenville, New York?
I think the town is Ellenville. I think it's a long time ago.
Right.
And then when Harry got murdered, can you use those words?
Yeah.
He, when Al Capone was consolidating things,
This is in New York, right?
yeah, and Harry and his bodyguard ran to California to see if they could stay alive a while longer, but they didn't. And they shot him to pieces at a restaurant in California. And that was the end of Harry.
You said they had a money belt with him, too?
He had a money belt with $30,000 on it, but the cops took the money.
Is that good?
$30,000 then was like
Lots of...
probably $500,000 today.
Right.
No stick.
All right, so anyway, there was a place called Primrose Mansion.
Bubba inherited Primrose Mansion, and we used to go away every summer to Primrose Mansion.
Uh-huh. Why don't you tell the story about Bubba and was it the outhouse?
Oh, one day, this is a story illustrating the sweet nature of Bubba. That I was fooling around when I was a little kid, and a tree had fallen on an outhouse. Not an outhouse, a pump house.
Pump house.
And the pump house used to pump water out of the well into the cottages in the hotel. And I ran, breathlessly ran about 2 miles to tell Bubba about this terrible thing that happened. And I ran up on the porch, and Bubba was sitting in her throne. And I said, Bubba, tree fell on the pump house. And she went, whack! And I went flying sideways right into the wall. That was...
was it? Did a tree really fall on it?
Yeah.
Or did you knock the tree on it?
I think I startled Bubba, and Bubba retaliated immediately.
And this place, you said, had like 3 cottages and about 40 rooms in a house? In a guest type house?
It had a very large cottage that we called the casino.
Right.
Because that's what it was when Harry
Owned it?
bought the place. Yeah, it was a casino there.
Uh-huh.
And he used it to take the heat off everybody to go up the mountains.
Right.
So all the gangsters used to go up there. And then besides the casino, there was a small cottage where we stayed.
Right.
And right next to ours was another cottage on the left.
I hear these faint stories about family members. Was it related to you, or is it a different network in the family about the boy who got thrown off of a roof?
That's Skippy. That's Harry's son.
Okay, can you tell me that story a little bit?
Yeah. Skippy was a really handsome blonde kid.
Uh-huh.
And Harry's wife was Tony. And the rumor that I used to hear was that she was the dope addict.
Uh-huh.
And then the story I heard that Tony pushed Skippy out of the building and killed him.
The mother knocked the kid out.
Don't
Yeah.
let my action get lost.
I'll watch it.
Well, that's a different. I never heard that story before. So I had heard that he was watching something happen and got pushed. But you think it was that?
Well, the story I heard, Tony threw him out.
Now, what was she high or something at the time? Now, what was this? Was there also a story, something? It may not be in this part of the family either. With Dutch Schultz. Is that anything to do with?
Yeah, well,
the
they were,
gangster.
Harry and he were contemporaries.
Okay.
You know.
Now, didn't Dutch Schultz shoot somebody? Was that the one who shot him in Los Angeles?
No, that was Capone people shot Harry.
Because didn't Dutch Schultz shoot somebody in the family too, or no? Is that?
I don't think so.
Or maybe
Harry, I heard, killed someone in Hartford. He robbed a drugstore and killed a druggist.
Did he go to
In fact, this is
prison?
a funny story. We used to have Harry's picture up in the house on Darien Street, on the wall.
This is your father's house?
Yeah, we lived when I was little kids. And a neighbor came in and said, "Isn't that Harry, the guy who killed everybody?" So we had to take the damn picture down.
That's funny. But there wasn't a story of somebody with Dutch Schultz sort of impacting. It was just that they were contemporaries.
No, there was a lot of people. In fact, my father took me to the cemetery in Long Island,
Right?
where Bubba is buried, where Zeta's buried.
That's where my grandmother's buried. Same one.
Your
It's all
grandmother's
on.
buried.
Right.
And Harry's buried.
Right.
And he took me around to all these. And he said, "That's Joe. He got shot this place. That's him. He shot him. This is this one. That one."
Now these relatives.
They're all friends and relatives who all got murdered. So maybe Dutch Schultz shot one of those guys.
Right. Okay, well that's interesting because you hear these stories and there's always little pieces to it. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, Buzz. When I was in high school one summer, I went with some friends down Miami. Just impulsively left, and my father got worried, and he went down there and found a hotel I was staying at, because Sid and Seymour lived down there anyway in Miami. And he took me to Hialeah. And we were there, and some guy with a hole in his neck said, "Murray." He said, "Yeah." He said, "Murray, remember me?" They were talking. My father remembered me.
Right.
"We got the guy that got Harry." It was in Hialeah. "We got the guy that got Harry." My father said, "Good."
That's funny. Yeah. Because when you hear about it, because on the other side, my mother's other side of the family, the guy was kind of connected with Kansas City, and ran a big operation in Kansas City.
Oh, my father. That's all he talked about was Kansas City. He loved Kansas City.
Well, that he knew Spitkovsky, who was my mother's uncle, who was Mr. Connected there. And it ended up, my grandfather wasn't connected. He was a guy just trying to make a living selling stuff and basically kept going bankrupt all the time in the 30s. But it was kind of
they were a colorful bunch.
Yeah, it was really, the stories that you hear, from some of them about the relative I told you about that I went out and visited in California. He became the chief DA in Los Angeles, and if they would have investigated who his uncles were, it would have never happened. But he was a straight as an arrow kind of sheriff, like a deputy sheriff, and then became a DA.
Well, my father had a half brother in Miami named Norman.
Now would that have been a brother of Willie or no?
Probably. And he was a cop on the Miami police force.
Right.
Norman, I remember. They didn't like Norman for some reason.
So is that family still down there, or did they all die off?
I don't know. I don't really know.
Didn't keep touch with them. Huh?